I quit investing $500 a month and I paid it on my mortgage instead. Here's what happened. My $500,000 mortgage got paid off 9 years early. I saved over $225,000 in interest, real money, guaranteed, market crash, couldn't touch it. And it still might be the most expensive money decision in my entire story because by the end of this video, you're going to watch the exact same choice quietly cost almost $500,000. I'm a licensed mortgage broker. I've spent more than 20 years watching smart, responsible people make this exact move. And today I'm going to live out the whole 30 years with you month by month, both versions of me, the one who quit and the one who didn't. And stick around because near the end, I'll show you the situations where quitting the market to pay your mortgage is actually the right call. They exist. Quick note before we start, I'm a licensed mortgage broker, but this is education, not financial advice for your exact situation. In full transparency, I didn't torch my family's retirement to make a YouTube video. I did what I do for clients every week. I ran the entire experiment on paper, month by month for 30 years in the real amortization math and the S&P 500's long run average, close to 10% a year over the last century with dividends reinvest. That's an average, not a promise, and we'll deal with that honestly near the end. One quick favor before we start. Tap that like button for me. It costs you nothing and it generally helps this channel. Okay, here's what and how it got started. Picture the day the loan funds, $500,000, 30-year fixed, 6.5%. The payment, just principal and interest alone, is about $31.60 a month. And buried in the paperwork is the number that started all this. Make every payment for 30 years and I will hand the bank $637,000 interest. Read that again. Borrow $500,000, pay over $1.1 million total. Now, at that time, I had exactly one investment habit, $500 a month automatically into the S&P 500 index. Nothing fancy, nothing clever. And staring at that $637,000 interest bill, my little $500 monthly deposit started to feel silly, almost irresponsible. Why am I buying stocks while the bank charges me interest on $500,000? So I did what millions of homeowners do every year. I quit, canceled the deposit, and pointed that $500 at the mortgage instead, marked applied to principal. And I want to be very clear about what happened next because the internet gets this part wrong in both directions. It worked. Every extra $500 went straight at the balance, and every one of those dollars earned a guaranteed return of 6.5%. My mortgage rate, that is what an extra principal payment is, a guarantee investment at your rate. By year 5, my balance was $35,000 ahead of schedule. By year 10, $84,000 ahead. By year 15, more than $150,000 ahead of where the bank expected me to be. And in month 250, 20 years, 10 months in, the balance hit zero, 9 years early. Instead of $637,000 in interest, I paid $412,000. That's a $225,000 interest I never paid. Saved, locked up, untouchable. And in the night that last payment cleared, I felt incredible. No payment, no bank, a paid off house. If the video ended right here, you'd cancel your own auto deposit tomorrow morning. Real quick, right here at the celebration, because I can feel half of you reaching for your banking app. If this story is hitting close to home, tap that like button for me. And if you want to see how it actually ends, hit subscribe too. Honest reason, this channel is small, and every like, every subscribe tells YouTube to show this video to the next homeowner about to make this exact call on a gut feeling. It's free. It takes 1 second and it generally keeps these coming. Okay, because now I have to introduce you to the other version of me. In the version of this story where I never quit, here's the second me. Same paycheck, same house, same $500,000, same 6.5%. Only difference is he kept the boring $500 auto deposit going and never sent it one extra dime to the bank. So let's check on his account while I was busy attacking my mortgage. Year 5, he's sitting almost $39,000. and honestly not impressive. A $35,000 head start on a mortgage looks just as good, and mine was guaranteed. Year 10, he's at just over 102,000. Year 15, 207. Year 20, about 380,000. And by now, the market is adding more to his account every single year than his deposits are. And here's the moment that hurts. Remember my victory date, month 250, the burn party, 20 years, 10 months in. Walk over to his side of the fence on the exact same day. His portfolio is sitting at 417,000. And yes, he still owes the bank 261,000. So put this side by side and run the actual net worth. Me, paid off house, nothing invested. Him, same house minus what he owes plus the account. On the day of my celebration, the me who never quit was already about 156,000 ahead. The party was real, the confetti was real, and I was already losing by six figures. But hold on, because now it's my turn, right? From the month after the payoff, I have no mortgage at all, so I can take the entire amount, $3,160 plus 500, $3,660 a month, and invest every dime of it for the last 9 years. I am now investing more than 7 times what he puts in each month. It doesn't matter. Year 30, final scoreboard. Both houses paid off free and clear. Me, the one who quit investing, killed the mortgage early and invested hard, about $655,000. Him, the one who never quit and never paid an extra dime, about $1.13 million. He finishes $475,000 ahead. Let me say the whole sentence out loud because it still sounds impossible. Quitting a $500 a month habit while saving $225,000 in interest cost me $475,000. The interest savings were real. They just cost me twice as much as they saved. How does this happen? One word: runway. Compounding pays the earliest dollars the most by a mile. His very first $500 deposit, that single deposit, grew to almost $10,000 by year 30, all on its own. Across the whole 30 years, he only put in $180,000 of his own money. The market piled roughly $950,000 on top. My dollars, they spent 2 decades earning a guaranteed 6.5, locked inside the mother walls, and my investing career didn't start until year 21, when the runway was almost gone. I invested bigger, he invested longer. Longer won, and it wasn't close. Now, the fine print, because I promised you honesty, and because there's really is a version to this story where quitting wins. Catch number 1, the big one, the word average. 10% is S&P's long run average, not a promise. So watch what happens to the ending when I turn the dial. A 10% never quit me wins 475,000. 8% wins by 154,000. At 7%, about 48,000. After 30 years of effort, that's getting close to a coin flip. At exactly 6.5%, my mortgage rate, the two versions of me finished less than 5,000 apart, a dead tie. And 5%, quitting wins by 93,000. So there's the entire law, the decision in one sentence. Your mortgage rate is the break-even point. Extra payments are a guaranteed return of exactly your rate, and the market has to beat your rate. Through real years like 2008, when the S&P dropped 37%, or quitting was right all along. Catch number 2, behavior. The average only shows up if $500 keeps going in through the scary months. If a crash would make you pause the deposit, or worse, sell everything at the bottom, then guaranteed 6.5 was always your better deal. A guaranteed 6.5% you actually earn beats an average of 10% you panic out of. And catch number 3, liquidity. This is one that surprises people. Every extra payment I sent got locked inside the walls of my house. Paying ahead never lowered my required payment. If I lose my job in year 12, the bank still wants its $31.60 a month, no matter how far ahead I'm paid. And banks do not hand equity back to unemployed people. Ghost me? We could sell a few shares from the couch to cover a rough month. For 2 straight decades, the guy with the mortgage and the brokerage account was actually the safer one. That's backwards from how it feels, and it's true. So when is quitting the market for the mortgage actually the right call? Write these down. When your rate is high north of 7 to 7.5, that guaranteed return starts crowding out what the market can reliably promise. When you're inside of about 10 years of retirement and you want the house finished before the paycheck stops, when the debt generally costs you to sleep, peace of mind is real. I just want you to know it's a price tag before you buy it, or when you know yourself honestly, and money would not have stayed invested anyway. And before either choice, the order of operations still rules everything. Employer match first, that's free money. High interest debt, dead. Emergency fund, funded. Then, only then is even a question. And if you're still torn, don't quit, split. 250 to the mortgage, 250 to the fund. Mathematically imperfect, psychologically bulletproof. You watch the payoff, they pull closer and the account keep compounding. No version of you loses $500,000. And there's a third door, the one my investor clients take. Stack that $500 a month for a couple of years and turn it into a down payment on a rental property where a tenant pays your mortgage down for you. I cared enough about the path to write a whole book on it. DSCR Loans Made Simple. It's on Amazon. A link is in my description. Because the loan that makes it work qualifies on the property's rent, not your paycheck. So I quit investing $500 a month and paid on my mortgage instead. What happened? Everything they promised, a paid off house 9 years early, $225,000 interest I never paid, and everything nobody mentioned. At an average return, it cost $475,000. Both of those are true at the same time, and now you've seen both, which puts ahead almost everyone who makes that decision. Because real lessons isn't never pay extra. The real lesson is never quit a compounding habit without running your rate against your runway. The 500 was never the expensive part. The 21 years of lost was. And remember, this is education, not personalized advice. Your rate, your timeline, your stomach, they changed this answer. So run your numbers before the move the real money. Now, before we go, I'm going to ask you straight. If watching $500 decisions swing $500,000 just changed the way you think about your money, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I don't say that as a throwaway line. Channel is still small, and every single like and subscribe tells YouTube to put this story in front of the next homeowner who's about to cancel their auto deposit and call it being responsible. That person might be someone you love. So if I've earned it, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and drop me a comment. Would you have quit? Tell me your rate and your monthly number, and I'll tell you where your break even sits. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.